Good afternoon. This is Media Center Ukraine, Odessa, and our third briefing is dedicated to the Charitable Foundation Dity Heroiv. We are having with us now Valeriya Abdal, co-founder of the foundation. Can you tell us, please, what you do and what have you done for the last several months? Thank you for inviting me today, and I would like to say that I am not only a co-founder, but a person that works directly with the families who suffered war. Our foundation started working at the beginning of March, so that was almost the beginning of the full-scale war. Our project is a full-scale and long-term project for children of fallen heroes, those who lost one or both parents. And now I would like to share some details of our project. Our project, as I've mentioned, is a long-term one, and we want to support those children who have lost their parents and who continue losing their parents because of the Russia's aggression. And we want to support them until they turn 18. And it doesn't matter how old they now, 5, 10, 13, we are going to support them till 18 years old. So our mission is to help them to survive the loss of the dearest ones, their parents. So we provide mental support them. And we would like them to become the best representatives of the Ukrainian nation worldwide.
Їм допомогти, ми хочемо виплакати здорову.
We want to raise these children. We want to raise a healthy and happy nation, regardless of the current situation. When it comes to the aid that we provide, I would also like to share more details, because we try to support them mentally. We support children and their families. We also provide legal, medical, humanitarian aid, and of course financial support. So there is the whole range of the support that we provide. We also support educational projects like learning English. Different types of education comes in Ukraine and abroad. These are IT projects, IT training for children who are older. So we have the whole range of support. If you want to learn more, please ask your questions. Yes, I would like to ask you how many children you have already supported starting from March of this year, and how many families have already got support from you. As of the 1st December, and we report monthly. So as of the 1st December, we had 1,400 children in our care. So the children who asked for our support. So it's around 10-20 new children that join our fund daily, our foundation daily. And we believe that the number of these such children can be bigger, because the Russia's aggression is ongoing, and our foundation continues working. As for the rendered support, as soon as a child comes to our foundation, the family comes to our foundation, we provide, first of all, financial support. Are these finances are donors? Of course, because we are not a public organization. We have a lot of children of fallen servicemen, and we cannot, of course, influence our state for this money to be provided to these families, to the children. And but we have our lawyers who provide legal aid to children free of charge. But of course, these lawyers are supported by our foundation. The system is quite complex there. I'm not going to share details now, but I would like to say that we, as a private initiative, we allocate our own funds, and we also have the partner foundations, and we get also support from them. For example, like Clemency Szeptycki Polish Foundation. So we have one key project. This is the project of American donors, of the United States donors. And there is a unique thing I would like to share with you. Every child, every family addressing to our foundation has their mentors. This is the family mentor, so to say. This is a person that becomes the family's friend, that is in constant contact with the children or families or their mothers or caregivers of children. So they support families throughout the whole way in terms of creating applications for different sponsor projects. If they want to learn English, or if they want to get to some educational camp, or if they need legal support, our curators, our mentors, our advisors, our personal friends, so to say, can support them with all these issues. And I think that this is what makes our project unique. So you provide mental health to children, and when it comes to going abroad, how many children, how many young adults have you sent to such psychological or mental rehabilitation? If I remember correctly, then around 200 children have already visited such camps abroad. And almost 200 children have also visited or attended such camps in Ukraine. We have GEM Ukraine camp that provides mental health support. This is we also have sent our children to Spanish camp. So they spend 1 month in such camps for rehabilitation. And but of course, we do not force anyone to send their children there. Yes, it's clear. As far as I understand, in most cases, you cooperate with one parent. Yes, we have families where there is only mother left or only father left. For example, when there were women that were in cars that were attacked by Russian soldiers. And I have now under care a girl from the Sergeyevka, from Odessa Oblast, who is now an orphan. And if you remember, on the 1st of July, a residential house was attacked by a Russian missile, and the girl lost both her children that night, and she has an elder brother who is 27 years old, who cares about her now. So we have such cases as well when the closest relatives become caregivers. It is very difficult to lose for everyone the closest, the nearest and dearest, but of course it is even more difficult for children. So what is the first mental support for such children? Who can provide such mental support? We have highly qualified professional psychologists and psychotherapists that are part of the team of our foundation. So they work with our foundation, and these people provide mental support to children. So I don't understand fully your question. This is the question about the specifics of working with children who have lost their parents. If we can compare with mental support to adults, for example, I know that there is mental support. There are mental support groups for women who lost, for example, their husbands during war. I think that our psychologists are in better position to speak about the specifics of supporting children, and we can organize a separate meeting with them. But as far as I understand, they try not to force a child to tell about his or her loss, first of all. And this is very important for a child not to submerge in the feelings of that night or the moment they lose their parents. And we have noticed the fact that not everyone are ready to have this mental support. Maybe this is the issue of the mentality of Ukrainians, and so we need to offer several times, and then families give their consent for with such mental support. And usually not all mothers, not all caregivers, and of course children don't understand that this is very important. But we hope that the situation will be different in the future, because we want to make changes here as well, because those children and the parents who get this mental support are then very thankful to us, and they say that such mental support changes their children a lot. For example, after 10 consultations of our psychologists, children become more open. They start smiling, communicating with their friends, etc. So we cannot insist on providing mental health, but we try to very carefully propose this later if we get rejection for the first time. I believe that mental support is very important, and I would like now to address everyone. So please do not neglect the possibility of mental support, because all of us are now in a very difficult mental condition, even if we do not realize this, because on the 24th of February, our life changed a lot. So now we have like 2 periods, before the full-scale war and after, and the problems that we had before are not so important anymore. That's why we believe that we should raise the nation that will take care about its mental health as well. The 1,400 children that you've mentioned, and you also have mentioned a girl from Sergeyevka. What other children address you to get support? The whereabouts of our children is quite wide. We have children all over Ukraine. We have children of servicemen, those who can stay in Lviv, and because their father can be killed on the front line. We also have children from Mariupol, from Zaporizhzhia, Kharkiv, Dnipro. So we have children from all over Ukraine, because the war is all over Ukraine. We don't have cities which are not involved in the war now. And we even help those children who are now staying abroad. And I would like to say now that if you need also support in evacuation, we also can provide such support. If they want to go abroad, we do everything possible to find some donors, sponsors, to get them accommodated abroad. And we even continue supporting those children, their families who have left Ukraine, because all of them are Ukrainians, and regardless of where they are now, they are representatives of our nation, and we want them to feel support of Ukraine, of the same Ukrainians as they are. You've mentioned that you have several partners abroad, and do you cooperate with private initiative, or do you cooperate with international organizations as well? First of all, I'd like to say that to be able to work at the international level, we have registered a legal entity in the United States. So we are registered there as the Charitable Foundation. We have now the CEO company from the United States that support us in this area. So we have been establishing contacts to cooperate in Europe and in the United States. For example, we have the project with the support of EBRD, and we have started to gather them the money-raising campaign for mentally supporting children to stabilize their mental conditions. And we hope that in the future we will have even more partners that will support us. I would also like to mention Ukrainian business, because a lot of Ukrainian companies support us. They support us in different projects. They supported both financially and not financially. When it comes to finance, they support us with their funds, with their money. For example, IT companies donate big amounts of money for our foundation. Some companies, they provide places for children for them to study in the IT area. We are supported by Monobank, Privatbank, Ukrbank. All of these are Ukrainian banks, so they donate money. And others also have us on the list of the Charitable Foundation that people can donate money through these banks. Before the new year, we have a lot of projects involving organizing gifts to children. So we have now a lot of donors who give us money for us to be able to buy presents to our children. And those members of our project who are involved in packing these gifts in Kyiv are called like the holiday elves. So now the question is about of the state support. What can children of fallen parents expect from the state? So we understand what we support them with, but what is about the state support? I think that you should better ask this question representatives of the public authorities. And as far as I know, there is no support to civilians from the state. And of course, I can be mistaken. Yes, of course, we will clarify this issue, but perhaps you're aware of the situation. The girl from Sergeyevka who were civilians and who were killed by the Russian missile hitting their house cannot get support from the state. Her brother tries to get support from the state, for example, to rebuild the house or to cover some other needs. And these attempts are unsuccessful so far. When it comes to the military, I know that there is an amount of around 15 million, and this amount is allocated by the state. But of course, these families should collect a lot of documents. For example, the certificate of death or certificate of forensic expertise. Sometimes it is very difficult to get these documents because the bodies of the servicemen are still there in the combat zone. In some of the cases. Yes, this is not always the case. Yes, of course, I understand if people have the status of missing in action, this is very difficult to get support. When you work with children, do you require to provide a package of documents to render your support? Yes, of course. To get to our foundation, a family or a caregiver or a guardian should provide the certificate of birth and also the ID of the guardian or a caregiver. And if this person is neither mother nor father, then he or she should provide the documents proving the guardian status. Thank you. Thank you very much for for the information you shared with us, and we hope to have you here with the psychologist the next year. I would also like to thank you for inviting me here, and I would like to say that you can find more information on our Facebook page, and we have more than 100,000 of subscribers, the people who have joined us there to follow our news. Oh, you can also find us our Facebook page as Dity Heroiv, or on Instagram, children.heroes. We have the website children.heroes.org, and you can find the stories of our children there. We post all the details about the projects and money-raising campaigns and a lot of other information. If you know a child who has lost one or both parents, please inform us about this, or help us to share information about us, because we want to help every child in Ukraine who has lost his or her parents. Thank you. Thank you too. This is our last briefing this year. See you next year. Stay tuned.
Спасибо большое.
Все.